this movie is going to prove that looking for your soulmate can be a good thing or maybe not. And finding it or finding them is good and bad. So we'll get into that in a second. Let's start with this IMDb plot. To be more specific here, follows Allison and Jason, two unsuspecting strangers who find their way out of a nightmarish maze where they were forced to get into part of a twisted new dating service created to help them find their soulmate, of course. All right, so this is a new movie hitting theaters. I was sent a screener for it, so just to let you guys know, that's where we're at here. So I'll try to keep this as spoiler free as possible for those who are going to check this out. And obviously, after it hits theaters, we'll maybe catch it on demand somewhere or DVD later on down the line. Try to keep you guys updated on that as well. But let's just take a quick dive into a little bit of what's going to happen here. Basically, two people are going to wake up. It starts off right away and gets right into it, so not too much wasted time here. Two people are going to wake up in bed here, and first it is Allison. She's going to try to get out of bed and realize she's chained to the other guy who's in bed there, and he then proceeds to wake up, and then they have that moment of, where are we, what do we, how did we get here, and that kind of thing that is going on here, and they're in the bedroom, and of course she thinks he chained them together, and he's like, no, don't be scared, I didn't do this, and they get only a few moments there to kind of get quickly acquainted before they realized they have to figure a way out of this bedroom, and then they find out, door after door after door is going to open, and they are kind of in this maze. And as they kind of go into different rooms, they're going to be tasked with different things. Sometimes it's just something for them to solve, and other times other person's life is at stake for them to. They're basically tested to do things together, and in the process maybe learn some things about each other, and obviously, again, like I said, the faster they kind of bond, the better it is for this other individual in the room or elsewhere. So if that kind of sounds familiar, it is because it is. It is it's like a different version of Saw. And, I know that we've kind of seen this before. Other movies that are Saw-like, that put people in traps and in kind of this situation where they have to follow a maze to kind of get out, and be in situations where it's a group of people that people are going to kill along the line. I guess a slight difference here is that Allison and Jason aren't the ones that are in danger. They're the ones that are basically tasked to see, as they go through these obstacles, are they compatible? What, can they learn about each other and that? So, kind of think of, these games within the rooms as games as they're going to, set up to learn stuff about each other and to kind of work as a team. Anything that can kind of bond them together or get them to learn stuff about each other, and obviously put them through maybe some trauma. There are family members that are mentioned and involved. So, as this is kind of playing out, I'm just kind of thinking of, well, they're just, playing on a couple of things, but, kind of that scenario where we've seen in lots of movies, especially, back in the day, the action movies where, two people who don't know each other are thrown into this traumatic, crazy experience, and then because they are at the end, they fall in love just because that's the kind of thing that we used to see in all these action movies. So I was kind of thinking of the same thing here, that they're going through this crazy maze, and seeing people get killed in front of them or on screen, and this trauma and whatever, and learning a little bit about each other, and along the way not sure if they're going to survive it or not. So you kind of are like, okay, well, obviously they're going to come together because, well, not only is it soulmates and they're together, but that's just the whole trauma of the situation. So I don't know. I'm trying to be spoiler free here. So I guess that's where it's going. So kind of as you watch this, if you're sitting down, it kind of starts rolling on, and obviously for all the horror fans who have seen Saw, you'd be like, oh, this is very Saw-like, and so forth. So have some interesting games and things like that. It's kind of, I think even they refer to it as this weird date, like one big crazy long date that they're on, and basically they're going from A to Z because they're going from meeting each other to kind of having to be soulmates at the end in order to survive all this. And just when you think it might be over, it's not over. And one of the things that I'm kind of thinking of here, I think if you're not a huge horror fan and you kind of watch this, things might be a surprise. If you've never seen Saw, it might be a little surprising and new to you. And it's not about the torture. It's not about the blood and guts. Yeah, there's some, but Saw is very heavily themed on that. The traps and the torturing of the people that are in the traps, and then the intensity of those moments, where there's a little bit of intensity here, there's a little bit of excitement. It is not really about that. It's more about the two coming together and bonding. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not all lovey-dovey. This is still, a thriller or horror movie, and it's not, all about them being, lovey-dovey after every single, one of these different rooms or traps or whatever you want to call them. So if you're not familiar with Saw, or you're a newer horror fan, you might not kind of see what's happening here. I think if you're a true horror fan, you've seen lots of horror, especially if you've seen Saw, you're going to kind of, see the familiarity there as they're going through it. And then I think of what happens at the end, you're going to kind of know that that's going to happen. So, not that that makes it a bad movie or whatever. I just think, if you're on point horror fan here, you're going to know basically everything that you're going to know the ending that's coming. I'll put it that way. I don't want to say it. I don't want to go too far out there, in that, but I was, right somewhere early on, I was like, I just had it in my head. I'm like, okay, well, this is happening, and I don't know if it was just that obvious or just my horror experience or whatever. I don't know. So, I don't know if you want to call it kind of twisty or not. Like I said, for those not expecting it, or not have seen a lot of horror movies or this type of horror movie, it might be very twisty to you. For others, maybe not. And being with that predictability and knowing that, seeing that this is kind of, like Saw and so forth, like, I still enjoyed it. I wasn't sure what to expect. But I didn't think that it was like, oh, this is just so much like Saw. Why am I watching this in a drag? No. I actually enjoyed it. And, oh God, what is this guy's name again? I keep forgetting. Neal McDonough, he kind of plays the matchmaker here. And again, like in Saw fashion, like, he's going to come on this video. Sometimes we saw Jigsaw, or we saw the puppet a lot and heard the voice, but in this case, you're going to see him as the matchmaker, and he's going to come on in certain rooms and kind of set up the games. They kind of give them clues to what's happening here, and I happen to like him, especially as a bad guy. And so every time he came on, I thought he did a good job of setting it up and just being slightly creepy while still trying to be in a matchmaker mode. I mean, I guess that's what he was there for. So he's not extremely creepy or dark, but maybe just enough because of the situations that they were in. But also, kind of thinking that, this is, like a game of love. I mean, that's what it is. So he kind of playing it both. So I thought he did a really good job there. And the two people that played Jason and Allison also do a good job. And I thought, they did a good job playing each other, playing off of each other as the movie went on. So, yeah, like I said, a level of predictability there, but surprisingly still good or still enjoyable, because sometimes when stuff's really predictable, it's just like, why am I watching this? I know all this, and it becomes a drag. And especially if the acting is bad, but like I said, it's pretty good here all around. So I enjoyed it. I was, Soulmates. I was thinking, why am I watching Soulmates? It sounds like something I shouldn't be watching, but it actually turns out to be not too bad. So I don't want to give any other spoilers away. So I'll just leave it at that, and we'll call it at 3 pools of blood, and that is out of 5. So again, this is a new movie coming to theaters, and then I'm sure not too long after that, you guys have more opportunity to see it elsewhere. So with that, again, that's 3 pools of blood out of 5 for the Soulmates. So almost a perfect match, but not totally. I don't know. So horrorscorereviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews written in video. Definitely more video ones of late, of a long time now. So feel free to like and subscribe and do all those things that everybody wants you to do. If not, no worries, no problems, but definitely head over and visit some shorts, trying to keep you guys entertained and informed with those as much as possible. Twitter, Facebook, still there. If you want to reach out, talk horror, talk about this movie, other movies, have something you want me to watch, feel free to reach me there. And down in the comment section as well, reach me there. The same, if you want to talk about this movie, when you guys eventually get to see it. Did you meet your soulmate here? If you went through the whole thing like them, do you think you would be soulmates? I don't know. We'll see. And definitely, if you have something you want me to watch, feel free to throw it in the comment section as well. So, with that, I'll catch you in the next review, horror fans.